I'm sliming this week is snow tubing. Snow tubing, number one, is not made for men of my stature. I can't deal with this Madden 21 game, man. It's so terrible.
Y'all act like football stops being played when y'all leave Mecklenburg County. We play football here in Cabarrus County too. And then even though it was raining, I was rolling around in the yard doing freaking grass angels out there.
Hallelujah!
Hey.
Oh my God.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is make sure your wife, your girlfriends, your mistress look, I'm back.
See, I got my hat on backwards. And it ain't because I'm a G either. It's because I'm angry. I'm going to tell y'all why I'm angry.
So I'm gonna have to start. This is gonna be a large group of people, so I might have to like walk around with like a slime gun or a slime cannon, or maybe put the slime in like an old school super soaker.
Joe Hughes! Joe Hughes! Cowboy Joe! You know it's a big night if Cowboy Joe's here. My goodness.
Y'all always put me on blast first, man. Who am I sliming? Good question.
All right, good evening, everyone. Petman Matt Marr. Welcome to Week 11 and the final regular season week of Football Focus Weekly. And we're going to end the regular season in a great way, the same way we started, sponsored by nobody. I ain't even got no body armor around me to show off tonight. I got to reload. So this could be your spot. If you're watching this right now, you could be selling whatever it is, a restaurant or car dealership or whatever it is you want to promote. This could be your spot. If you're interested in that, send me a DM, reach out, and we'll work with you on it. But not sponsored this week, but welcome anyways. 2 comments in the box already. Chat administration. You're not ready for Friday, are you, Kyle? Of course, Mooresville Late Norman's on the docket tonight. Chris Hagler checking in. Happy Wednesday night. Good to see you, sir. And the crew is good. We're waiting on a couple more members of the crew to show up. But with us tonight so far, we got Big Shelby in the house after a week off.
Happy to be back, man.
Where'd you go last week?
I was fortunate enough to go to the Appalachian and Coastal football game last night, man. What a great environment that was.
Awesome. That's good stuff, man. Glad to have you back in the house. And, of course, we have the Queen here with us.
With the Puerto Rico shirt.
Yes. I'm starting to collect shirts. So, every week it'll be a different shirt, just depending on where I go. I need to get down to Shelby so I can get me one of them Golden Lion shirts.
Got to. We'll hook you up.
There you go. Awesome stuff. And if y'all want to send shirts through me, it'll be a lot cheaper because I require a 3X, and I know 3X shirts cost a little bit more. Cherie, what size you wear?
This is a medium.
Medium. All right. So save a little money. Send me a medium. We also got the producer here with us.
Yo, just popped in. Glad to be here.
All right. Good stuff. Couple more comments coming in. Phil Johnson. Queen looked like she doing her homework.
She is. You can see the screen in the corner. You can see the screen reflecting in the glasses. They like some Excel on the screen or something.
See, what y'all don't know is the Queen is very studious in what she does with the show. Out of all the whole crew, she will send me messages and say, hey, what games are we talking about and what games are we predicting? So she can study up. And then most of the time, I forget to do my job and send it to her. So, like this week. So we'll be flying in the blind. But that's all good, though.
Sounds good, man.
Level playing field.
That's right.
Right.
Okay. Well, Mike, I appreciate you watching, but the prediction segment's a little later on. But duly noted.
Yeah,
Duly noted.
He's on it.
They ready for tonight, man. They ready.
I'll tell you, last night on Between the Lines, we had about 30 viewers consistently through the show. By far, the biggest audience were Between the Lines, and I mean, it was great. It was great, man. All right, so we're going to start off. We're going to get it on the screen. We're going to go through the rapid review. We're going to take a look at what happened last week, get you guys' thoughts on that, and then we'll go into playoff talk, which is what everybody wants to talk about. So let's get through that first. Okay, so we got Concord winning over at West Rowan 21-13 for the SPC championship. Great season for Concord. Let's see. Catholic over East Meck 42-7. Porter Ridge Big over Piedmont 56-0. Marvin Ridge over Sun Valley Big, setting up that big game with Weddington this week. And then South Meck 3-0 over Myers Park. You guys get any thoughts on those games?
That Myers Park South Met game, man, it kind of shocked me a little bit just about the score. Just about the score, because you don't really see, no matter who's playing, you really don't see no high school game 3-0.
Not these days.
You don't see a football game 3-0, period. So.
No,
I was like chomping at the bit because I'm like, I really wished I had been at that game. You know, I'm all about defense, and that screams defense on both sides of the ball. And, you know, big shout out to South Meck for holding it down because they definitely did.
Yeah.
Was it South Meck? Sorry.
Yeah, South Meck. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, yeah, big shout out to them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's got to feel rewarding if you're South Meck to hold a team that, you know, Myers Park's been winning on defense the last few weeks, so the last few wins. But if you think about their MO, they're known for their offense, and to shut them out, you know, that's got to be a good confidence booster for them.
Absolutely. Miss Burlos was there, of course. It was awesome. Well said. And then, you know, Mike was there. Mike, if you're still on, if you want to chime in on any thoughts you had about that game. I know we talked a little bit through Messenger about it. Kyle, I'm not going there. But, I mean, what an incredible environment and a great game. And a big win for South Meck. Setting up a three-way tie in the SOMEC 7 we're going to talk about here in just a minute. Crazy scenario. All right, back on the screen, Chambers over West Charlotte. Queen, you want to talk about that?
You know, the first half of that game, it was super back and forth. You had just a lot going on both sides. Chambers started to pull away a little bit, but West Charlotte, you know, they stayed in that fight for most of that game. But it wasn't until third quarter. I forget who it was. I think his last name was Reeder, 25 on Chambers' team. Had like, I don't know if it was back-to-back scooping scores, but I know there were back-to-back scooping scores by Chambers' defense. And I mean, that kind of opened up the hole for them to win that game. And they did convincingly. So shout out to them as well.
That's interesting because the game is a lot closer. You take away those two scooping scores. Right.
They were in it. Well, Charlotte was in it. So shout out really to both sides. I mean, you know, I was on West Charlotte's side for the first quarter, and, you know, like I said, it was going back and forth. And then, you know, like I said, I tried to go between both sidelines just to kind of, you know, get the feel for like the students and stuff. And yeah, it was one of those games. It was really one of those games.
All right, good stuff on that. Miss Moten chiming in was watching AK and South Meck game at the same time. Man, how you pull that off? What? And
talented, man.
That is true.
The internet, man. True. The internet.
The internet. You're probably watching. Was that one game? You're watching one on the phone.
Well, still, it don't take much to impress me. All right. A game not really discussed that much, but a big game. Metrolina Christian over Cabarrus Warriors, 42-38. That really set up a conference championship for Metrolina Christian. And there's a possibility these two schools could rematch in the private school playoffs coming up next week. Monroe big over West Stanley. No surprise there. North Meck winning the Battle of the Shield over Hopewell 23-6. Charlotte Latin getting back in the win column over Country Day 35-0. Catawba Ridge with a big region win over Indian Land, putting them into the playoffs 16-13. Huff big over West Cabarrus. Producer, the game we were at, I'll let you go first on thoughts you got.
Also, pretty, I would say this. The teams, although you might look at that score and, go ahead and pin it as a defensive struggle, there's probably more ball movement in that game than you might expect for a 13-12 score. But, a lot of teams had struggles punching it in when they would get in the red zone. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Olympic had a big fourth down stop right on the goal line to keep Audrey Kell out. So the offense has played better than that score would indicate. Just couldn't punch it in at times. And shout out to for Audrey Kell for pulling it out. But I'm sure although they didn't get the win, quite a learning experience for Olympic. I know there's probably a few plays in there that wish they could have got back, but I think they're going to be a better team going forward based on what they got out of there, and still also props to Audrey Kell, having a great season and just continuing. So Audrey Kell has to feel good about beating another really good team. So that's going to boost their confidence going into the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. This loss was really tough for Olympic because the projections that have just come out, and we're going to look at those in a second, those projections have Olympic out of the playoffs at 5-3, strictly because of the RPI system. And, I started a little bit of discussion on Twitter about the RPI, and I know Coach McFadden from the Big Eye chimed in along with a couple other people talking about some of the things that need to be looked at in the RPI going forward. And hopefully, the state is open to, looking at taking those coaches' feedback and looking at their system and maybe making some tweaks in the off season because, producer, you can disagree if you want to, but I think Olympic is definitely playoff worthy.
I'm not going to disagree on that at all. They're definitely a playoff worthy team. So, yeah, they're going to be, I hope, some tweaks. It's kind of the first season for this, so I'm hoping they're open to tweak it because, unfortunately, there are going to be some teams on the outside looking in that you can make a case for being in the playoffs. It's just the reality of it. And there are going to be some teams that get in that you kind of scratch your head a little bit. So, just the way it is. But no, the way I see it, watching Audrey Kell Olympic, I felt like I was watching two playoff-bound teams. No questions asked.
Absolutely. So a couple more scores to see. Christ School over Charlotte Christian. I think that's going to knock them out of the playoffs, unfortunately, this year, which I don't know the last time they've missed the private school playoffs. They have perennially been a very, very talented team in that NCISAA. But Providence Day picking up a huge win over Rabun Gap, 25-14. They have a huge game this week against Charlotte Latin. And if Providence Day wins, they can win the conference title. I kind of predicted that in the beginning of the season, and they took them a little while to get things straightened out, but that win really opened the door for them. Independence, big rivalry victory over Rocky River, 26-0. Malley Creek big over West Meck. Weddington continues to roll over Cuthbertson. The game that got all of us, Boiling Springs over Fort Mill, 36-22. Joe Hughes tried to tell us, but we didn't listen.
I'd already clicked submit. Couldn't go back and fix it, man, but he was too late.
Let's see. Kramer over North Gaston big. They've got a huge game at Forest View this week. It might be a loser leave town match. We'll see what the RPI and the projections say here in just a minute. J.M. Robinson still rolling. They got a big one against Mount Pleasant we're going to talk about. Hickory Ridge over Cox Mill. It took a little while for Hickory Ridge to get going. Cox Mill was up in that game 17-7 And then Hickory Ridge was able to get it going and take the victory and officially win that conference. Kings Mountain big over Ashbrook. Pine Lake Prep with a good win, setting up a big game against Community School of Davidson. And they could possibly have a three-way tie scenario in that conference as well. The Catawba Shores 1A, 2A. Pine Lake, Community School Davidson, and Mountain Island if Pine Lake wins against Community School on Friday. Lake Norman over South Iredale. Mooresville, we see with a victory over A.L. Brown. It's not always pretty, but it's efficient, and it got them into the big game there going against Lake Norman this Friday night. North Stanley with I think that's a bit of an upset victory over Mount Pleasant. I was surprised to see that. South Point, overtime victory over Forest View. That was huge for their playoff chances, and Forest View's in a must-win situation against Stuart Kramer this Friday night. On down the line, and there's Big Shelby, big over East Gaston, 62-28. Man, Coach, what happened in that, man? Besides y'all just continuing to steamroll.
We jumped out on them early. Had a key block on the first punt, and had a couple of turnovers, pick six on defense. But East Gaston is it's a good team. They're actually a good team if you let them hang around. They do a lot of good things well. They got a good running back. If any college coaches are looking for a running back, I'm telling you, Justin Hill is the real deal. He has no offers. I don't know who's talking to him, but he's the real deal. He's big kid, big physical, and I promise you, if he hits the hole, ain't nobody catching him.
Yeah, Joe actually reached out to me and said, very similar things. So
he's the real deal.
Yeah, I reached out to him, and hopefully we'll be able to showcase him pretty soon.
I know when some coaches hit up us about our guys, I know we've been pushing them too. Like,
awesome.
Hey, y'all need to take a look at this kid.
And it's awesome to have coaches that do that at other schools. Sometimes that's how some kids get noticed. Let's see, a couple comments here. See Kyle saying RPI's new BCS format for pre-playoff college football. It's something. I wouldn't say it's I don't know. I always felt like politics were involved in the BCS, but
definitely was. They wanted the high dollar, those high teams that would bring in the revenue. The Alabamas. They wanted them in there. They didn't want the underdogs in there. So I think some politics went into BCS.
Yeah. And then MK Fam checking in. We are excited here at Stuart Kramer Forest. We has a good team. It will be fun. Absolutely. I expect that to be a really good game on Friday night. All right, so you guys that are tuned in, you're tuned in to see what we can talk about with the playoffs. I'm going to call the segment RPI Rankings, but we're going to go back and forth here. So I'm just going to share the screen, and then we're going to kind of flip windows back and forth here. So let me get that set up. Let's see here. I'll do it that way. All right. So first of all, on the RPI ranking, we see who the top guys are. Now, when we go to the playoff projections, these are from high school OT, so you might have seen them already because they, updated them on Monday. So we'll start with the 4A West because that's where most of Charlotte is, and then we'll work our way down. So automatic bids for first place, there are 10. Remember, there are 32 spots that get in, okay? So you got some guys. So the other conferences in our western part of the state, you got Glenn out of Central Piedmont. So for our area, Hickory Ridge in the greater Metro 4. We got Huff in the Queen City. They project Ardrey Kell in the SOMEC, and there's an explanation for that. Southern Carolina, Marvin Ridge and Wedekind are playing this Friday, so the winner of that will win the conference. And then in the Southwest, they got Butler, and Butler beat Charlotte Catholic, so that's why they'll win the conference. All right, so in the case of the SOMEC 7, there's an explanation. There's a good chance of a three-way tie in which the tie between Ardrey-Kell, South Meck, and Myers Park could only be broken via RPI. This is different. So if you guys have been around for a little while, you remember in three-way tie situations, you would draw straws or draw numbers or some little secret meeting that would happen in the back of a restaurant on Friday nights after games between athletic directors. That's how these, draws were what's the word I'm looking for? Consummated. So now they take a look at the RPI ranking, and then Ardrey-Kell has a pretty high RPI, so that's why they project them as the winner of the conference. So this week, Ardrey-Kell plays Berry, Myers Park plays Olympic, and then South Meck plays Harding. So by those projections, you would say Myers Park's in a 50-50 game there. You would favor Ardrey-Kell over Berry, and you favor South Meck over Harding. So if Ardrey-Kell and South Meck win and Myers Park loses, now it's a two-way. And then you look at the head-to-head. Ardrey-Kell beats South Meck, so then they would be the conference champion. That's how we avoid the three-way tie in a projection scenario. So you got pretty much Ardrey-Kell lined up very well to be the conference champ. If you're South Meck, you're hoping for an upset of Berry over Ardrey-Kell. That's what you want to happen. If you're Myers Park, you're hoping you're hoping for a lot. You're hoping for Harding to beat South Meck, and then they have a two-way what's the word? An advantage over Ardrey-Kell because they beat them head to head. So if you got all that straight, thank you, because I don't want to repeat that. But if you do have, if you do have questions on that, feel free to let us know. Okay, get this straightened out there. Okay. All right. So now, all that being said, second place finishers. This is a good keynote. Second place finishers are seeded with the wild cards based on their RPI. So that was a note that I wasn't aware of when we were starting to look at this stuff, but it's good to know. So if you have a wild card team with a high RPI, they will be seeded based on that RPI, and they could be above a number of teams that finished second in the conference. So in the Greater Metro 4, we are going to choose who that second place team is Friday night between Lake Norman and Mooresville. They play head to head. In the SOMEC, as I said, if we get down to that, three-way tie, the RPI gets it. If it goes to 2, whoever doesn't win the conference would get the second seed there out of the conference automatically. Loser of Marvin Ridge and Weddington gets the number 2, and then Southwestern Charlotte Catholic gets the number 2 seed. Okay. So now high school OT has projected the playoffs with certain games being projected as winners on Friday night. You see where they have the seeds at. So Huff has the highest RPI. They're conference champ. They get the 1. They projected Ardrey-Kell to be a 1 seed. They have a high RPI. Remember, RPIs are over here. Huff, number 1 overall RPI in the 4A West. Ardrey-Kell's the number 4 RPI in the 4A West. That's why they're projected as a number 3 overall seed in the 4A West bracket. Before people start losing their minds, because I know some people may feel like there are teams that are better that should be seeded higher. RPI is the key. RPI is the thing that makes this thing go this season. As then you see on down the line, you see Weddington, Hickory Ridge as a 7, Butler as an 8. And then you see the first wild card is Chambers. And this is where we start getting into it, because once all the 1 seeds are seeded, Wild cards and number 2s are then seeded by their RPI ranking only. So you go back to the RPI, you see Chambers is the number 2 RPI in 4A West in the state. That's why they're a 10 seed. You got to look at the RPI to drive it. And then on down the line. So now we see our playoff teams in the area. Marvin Ridge is in strong. Myers Park is in strong. South Mex in strong. Porter Ridge is good. Lake Norman. Let's see. Charlotte Catholic. Mallard Creek is in pretty strong. I think they projected a North. I think they had to project a victory for Mallard Creek over North Meck. That's a 50-50 game right there. Mooresville is in pretty strong. North Meck is in. Providence is in. Cuthbertson in. And I'm glad to see that because, Cuthbertson has been, playing some teams tough. Cox Mill, and then the last wild card in is Mount Tabor. Okay? Now, this is where things get a little squirrely. Go to your RPI and go down here, and you see the last team in, Mount Tabor, is 32nd in the RPI with a 3-5 record. Anyone below Mount Tabor right now, based on this projection, is out. You see, winning records, Olympic at 5-3 is probably the most controversial for our area. But you got McDowell at 5-3 right there out. You got Independence at 4-4. That's out. And those are probably the most, I would say, 50-50 ones because you look at the teams above Mount Tabor that are in with losing records. Cox Mill right now. Cox Mill, Greensboro Page, who always seems to benefit from this somehow. I'm just saying.
They play tough football now. It's a lot of those teams that they have to play are in like the top 25.
Yeah. I'm just giving them a hard time because a couple years ago they got in over Harding, which still doesn't sit well with
I remember
me.
that.
And then Cuthbertson at 3-6. But you see the drivers for these 4 teams that are projected in the playoffs with losing records. You see what the drivers is. Opponents winning percentage. Cuthbertson at 692, Page at 603, Coxville 597, and Mount Tabor at 589. All of those winning percentages are much higher than when you go down and you look at Olympic, for example, at 421, McDowell at 416, and Independence at 415. Now, some of that you can't help, okay? Some of it can't be helped because sometimes when you schedule games, you think teams are going to be better than what they are, and then they have a down year. It can be a little tricky. But I think there needs to be a modifier added to this thing. Olympic lost by 1 point to the number 4 team in the RPI, and they get no credit for it. I don't think that's right. That's the one thing I think we got to look at from my perspective. If you're playing high RPI teams really competitively and you lose, I think there should be something for that. Just my opinion. But there's still hope. All hope is not lost. Number 1, these are projections. Number 2, these things can change if you go out on Friday night and get it done. The good thing for Olympia is they got Myers Park this week. If they beat Myers Park, that's going to definitely help this win percentage right here, which is 30% of the RPI. And then you got to just work the formula and see what happens. And then these other teams that are projected in right now, remember, they got to play too. And they got to win. They got to earn their, keep their spots, So you talking about some RPI buster games, Cuthbertson, Page, Cox Mill, Mount Tabor. If you're on the outside, if you're an Olympic, you're an Independence, even if A.L. Brown wins over Mooresville, those are the teams you got to be looking at. And you got to be, doing whatever ritual or rain dance or whatever you want to do to try to get them to lose, so a spot can open up for you to move up. But number one, if you're on the outside on this projection, you got to take care of business on Friday night, and then let the chips fall where they may. All right. Man, no comments on that? Man, that must be.
I know. For me personally, I always thought it was tough just playing football in Charlotte. Period, because there's so many 4A schools. So every year it's gonna come a time where it's gonna be a team deserving to get in. But it's like it's just so tough how they have like all those 4A schools, and like I feel like some of the schools might need to make the jump, like how like West Charlotte did, just go be 3A, but still be 3A, 4A. Because I know in our conference, like, Holland Tech's making the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Holland Tech's going to make the playoffs because of...
A split conference?
Because of them playing, like, us and East Gas.
Oh, the RPI. Oh,
so
wow.
Their RPI is high off of opponent's strength of schedule. So it's like one of those where I just feel like in Charlotte, I feel like every year it's always, like, it's tough trying to get in because you can be, like, a 6-3 team or like, 7-3 or 7-4 and be, like, be one of the best teams around, but it's just so tough to get in, man. Because like if you look at like the top 10, it's all of them is basically Charlotte area schools, at least 5 of them. So that's just tough.
Right.
Then you have like the Winston-Salem and Greensboro area. So I feel like it's tough 4A period, just trying to make the playoffs as a 4A team because it's so tough where all the schools at.
Well said, man. So real quick, projected matchups, and I'll blow this up a little bit so you guys can see a little better. Get back down to that. There's some interesting projected matchups based on their seeds here. A South Meck Porter Ridge first round game would be very interesting. Oh, Kyle, Butler versus Mooresville. I know you'd be excited for that.
Look at Joe's comment.
Oh, hold on. Let me go back to that.
I know Joe had texted me.
Okay.
I know he told me the numbers. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yes. That's also because
wow.
That is
of schedule. The opponent's strength of schedule is the reason why Holland. It's not surprising because every year, like I remember, Bestman City used to win. Like whenever whatever conference Bestman City was in before, it's like the only 1A school they played was like Holland Tech or somebody else. So if they win a 1A game, technically in 1A they were 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough, man.
Gracious.
I just know these numbers, man. I just feel like I wouldn't have put this out yet because people have to play.
Well,
so whoever's in charge of it, they're gonna be up all Friday night, Saturday morning.
Well, the good thing about it is for them, it's just plugging in numbers and they're running the formula. That's yeah. I mean that's it. That's it. So it's not gonna take them long. On Saturdays, typically on playoff Saturday, we wait a long time for those brackets to come. I don't think we're gonna have to wait that long.
You can do this instantly. Hit enter.
Yeah, hit enter, but I still feel like even though high school OT, like these just projections, like we don't really know who the people who had the final say so is gonna be the ones to be like, hey, this. So that's why it's gonna take longer. It's gonna take longer because it's just a projection. Like you just don't know.
Yeah, I mean we're gonna have some upsets across the state, and it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild, but a couple other matchups here that would be interesting. Marvin Ridge, Charlotte Catholic. That's a throwback to last year's conference matchups. Let's see here. Hickory Ridge, AC. Oh, Chambers, Mallet Creek. Oh man, look at that.
They play 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. That's the typical Charlotte thing. You always get one. You always get one rematch.
It's
in the
just
first
tough,
round.
man. It's like you look at some records and stuff, man. You be like, man, these are not playoff caliber team records. It's off record, Even though I know people play tougher teams, but
So let me see if I can go back to. Oh, wait a minute.
You should have stayed there. You probably got to go back to just go after that. Yeah, probably got to hit playoff projections.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I've been having to do. I've been on it a lot. Just looking, scroll down. There'll be football somewhere.
All right, let's go to 3A. You're gonna see West Charlotte and West Meck in this, and then a couple of.
Is this West Charlotte's first year being 3A?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was smart of them, man.
Well, they didn't choose. The state
That's what
Did
I'm
it based
saying. I'm
on
saying, but you can appeal. But that's why I'm smarter than them to go ahead and take that 3A because that's because you're gonna get in every year based off because you playing all the 4A schools.
well, that's split. See, that's why we were talking about realignment. We hate split conferences for that reason. And now it seems like we got split conferences all over the place, which
Yeah.
it is what it is. They ain't going. Apparently they're not going away.
I just feel like how it is. I feel like it's always been that way.
All right, so 3A West, the Big South Conference will be settled between Kings Mountain and Crest this Friday night. There's West Charlotte. They beat West Meck for that 3A spot. They got Parkwood out the Rocky River. That's nice for Coach Gittins and those guys. Good job. Concord out of South Piedmont. We talked about that earlier. All right, so second place bids, they'll be the loser of those games. There's West Rowan right there at the South Piedmont. So, in the 3A West, these are projected seeds. There's Kings Mountain, they're projecting them over Crest. There's Concord as a 5, West Charlotte as a 7. Let's see, Parkwood as an 8. And in the 2 seeds, there's Crest right there. South Point in at 14 as a wild card. They're securely in the playoffs. I know there was a little tension down in Belmont about that, but you don't have to worry.
Wow.
West Rowan is
tough. That's gonna be tough for somebody.
Yeah. Stuart Kramer's in on the projection. Mooresville also in on the projection. So Gastonia getting some love. There we go. Northwest Cabarrus in on the projection.
My God,
that's big for
us. My old Freedom.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff, man. So if you flip it over, I can't switch screens now, but we'll just stick with this. But where are the last 5? Here's the last 5. So Northwest Cabarrus is on that bubble. They got to win to stay in. There's Freedom. They're in there right now. And then I saw your comment, Justice, on West Meck just being out. Good gracious. Second team out based on the RPI. That's rough. But who does West Meck have this week? I haven't seen that. Justice, if you're watching, let me know who West Meck has. They if they win, they got a shot of getting in, and that would be huge for that team. As young as they are, to go through that experience.
West Meck has they only got it up yet.
Oh, they got a bye.
I think they done. Yeah, they done.
Yeah, so now if you're West Meck, here's what you're looking at. You see the teams that you want to lose. You got Asheboro. Yep.
North Henderson. Really, all of them just lose and just get down in there. That's what I hope for. Everybody lose. Get in there.
So that's a double-edged sword because you know what you are now if you're West Meck, and you're sitting at that number 2 spot just out. You gotta figure all of those teams are not gonna win.
Nope.
But is it gonna be enough? Because they're at a 4.49, North Henderson at a 4.51, Ben L. Smith 4.52, and Inca at a 4.59. You might, with a loss, be able to overtake one of those 3 schools. You might be able to do that. I mean, those are 5, roughly. Let me switch to RPI real quick because I want to see where those guys are record-wise and see what that possibility is. Because I'd love to see West Meck get in, man. I would love to see that. So we're going to stop, and then we're going to switch over to the 3A RPI and take a look at that. So, all right, let's get that on the screen. This is good stuff, man.
That's an interesting feeling if you're West Meck. You unfortunately can't control your own destiny, so you're just kind of sitting back waiting is our season over or not. You just kind of anticipation.
Yeah, so let's go down to West Meck and see where they are. So they're 35 in the RPI at 4-6. So above them, there's Asheboro's 1-8.
Wow.
That opponent, look at that.
They've been playing like a lot of good football teams.
Yeah, that opponent's winning percentage 686.
Like they've been playing like a lot of like they play like the top I think like the top 1A school I can't remember who all they done played. I'm gonna go look at it, but they played my friend coach there, and I was like, "Ain't no way y'all make the playoffs." He was like, "Man, we got a chance." He's like, "Man,
so this is crazy, you know." And they were different.
They beat Randoman. And then they played they played Eastern Randolph, which is undefeated. Then they played. Who is this? Who is this?
Wow.
Then they played. They don't have their names. They played Wheatmore. They played Oak Grove. They played North Davidson, Ledford, Providence Grove. So yeah, they've been playing like a lot of Southwest Randolph. Like every team they play in is like 7-2, 9-0, 8-0. The only team they played with the losing record was Montgomery Central. They played them this Friday. They're 0-8.
So
Ledford is 7-2 overall. North Davidson is 5-3. Central Davidson is 7-1. Oak Grove is 6-2.
So the team Asheboro plays Friday is 0-8.
Yeah, they play Wheatmore. Wheatmore is 3-5. So they only play two teams on their schedule that's under 500. Everybody else is like basically 7-2, 8-2, 8-0, stuff like that.
All right. So if you're West Meck, you're hoping that whoever that 0-8 team Asheboro plays rises up and beats them. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I'm like, boy, y'all might make the playoffs.
Ben L. Smith, you're hoping they lose. Inca, you're hoping they lose. North Henderson, you're wanting them to lose. So Justice, you know, you got to follow those teams. Hope they lose, and then where you guys are, you're steady, and hopefully that 449 RPI will get you in, because I want all the Charlotte area teams to get in that can get in. So now this is another point, and I neglected to think about this. So the RPI will change based on their opponent's winning percentage and the opponent's winning percentage. So I am mistaken. That RPI will change based off of those numbers slightly. So what you're hoping for is your opponents, anyone you play in conference, to win. Now, all your conference games can't win, of course, but that's kind of wash and cancel each other out. But that other one, the opponent's winning percentage, some of those non-conference teams your opponents played, you want them to win. So you see how deep this thing can go. And, to your point, Big Shelby, it might take a little time on Saturday because we have all those factors.
So, some people some people going to wait to try to put their scores in and make it rough on people if they win or if they lose, they're going to try to make it tough on people.
And, this is another thing. You go to Max Preps. Garinger still has a win in Max Preps on the varsity level. As crazy as this, they got to make sure that stuff's cleaned up.
Yeah, well, I think they have until. I think my coach was like they have until Friday, like at Friday night, to make sure everything on Max Preps is happy. Like they they kind of look at it during the year a little bit, but it's like a day where whoever's your person that runs it have to make sure everything's right.
Right, but who is the check and balance on the NCHSAA side for that?
It's above my head.
Exactly.
I don't know. Well, I don't see those people until it's playoff time come around, man. They start passing out trophies and stuff.
So a couple comments. Let's see. Miss Burlow's future doesn't look good for high schools that don't have strong programs. Teams will avoid playing them because it affects RPI. You're going to get a mix, Miss Burlow's. You're still going to have some people that will not play Huff, Chambers, the really good teams, because some people are going to go on the other side and think, okay, if I schedule soft and we're 8-0 going into the end of the season, then we're good. So it's going to be a mix of philosophies. Some people, I think it's going to be easier for some teams to get games like that, but it's not going to be a whole full scale slide to where Huff and Chambers have just got all kind of people wanting to play them.
Then you have I don't know what school does our son play for? Is it South Met?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if they have a lot of seniors or not, but then say if all those guys come back, ain't nobody gonna want to play them either. Especially if their defense is that strong, holding Mines part the 0 points. Ain't you know what I'm saying? People not gonna necessarily want to call them either. So it's gonna be tough.
Well, they do have a lot of seniors over there. I think it's 26.
I don't think it'll completely override things, but I think when someone's picking, they might think for a second about an on-conference opponent, but there's still going to be that mentality, okay, we just win and control our own destiny, we'll get in. That's still going to be there. But you may for a second have someone think for a second, okay, because some teams are going to feel like, look, we're going to beat this 3-win team just as like we're going to beat this 6-win team. So let's just schedule the 6-win team and beat them. You know, you're going to have teams with that kind of confidence. So you might get somebody to think for a moment about it, but I don't think it's just going to, I don't think the Chambers AD's inbox is just going to be overflowing with requests, but it may get some people to think, So I see her point. It may get, for a split second, somebody may say, okay, they have a couple more wins. They look like they're going to be a little bit better. Because a great team is going to be like, we're going to win either way. So let's schedule a team that's a little bit better. You might get that thought, maybe.
Right. All right, so the 2A West, you see Big Shelby on the top there. And then on down the line, there's Burns right there at number 6. They're securely in the playoffs for sure. Monroe at 10 is good to go. Let's see. On down, there's Community School of Davidson we were talking about. They're good. J.M. Robinson, of course, is locked in. They're playing for a conference championship. If they lose, they're still at number 2, so they're in. Pine Lake looks pretty good no matter what happens. East Gaston, I'm glad to see that. East Gaston looking strong to make the playoffs. That's awesome. On down the line, Mount Pleasant looks pretty good right there. And let's see. So let me switch over and look at the 2A projections. And I'll share who's on the bubble in 2A West. So, this is a long page. I tell you, this is the best time of the year. It's the best time of the year, man.
It's crazy with ours too, man. We've been preaching to our kids like we need to win. It's a must win because we can easily go from being number 1 and having home field advantage to being the 15th seed and being on the road first week.
Right.
Even though it wouldn't be. I don't feel like we should be if we go that right. If we be 9-2 or 8-2, losing to the number 6 team, then losing to a 5A powerhouse South Carolina. I don't think we should be bumped down that far, but it is what it is. But that's what we've been telling the guys, man. We got the East Gaston game was the first round of the playoffs. So.
There you go. Okay. Let's see. So 2A we got. So of course, like we said, projection Shelby's the 1. Monroe is a 7. Community School of Davidson, they're projecting to win over Pine Lake, so they got them as a 9. Projecting J.M. Robinson to win over Mount Pleasant, they have them as a 10. Burns is a 12 and a wild card. On down the line here, Pine Lake Prep is 21 and a wild card. East Gaston is 24 and a wild card. Mount Pleasant's in at 28 and a wild card. And then our friends at North Stanley get the last spot. 32nd in the wild card based off the projection. So let's see. First 5 out does not include anyone in our immediate area that we talk about regularly. So most of our 2A West area teams right now are sitting good and in the playoffs, but North Stanley sitting on that borderline. Mount Pleasant at 28, I think they'll be okay. But you always want to win and get in. But I think everyone else we just mentioned is pretty good. All right, let's jump to 1A real quick. All right, so in 1A, our area teams, or it's Mountain Island Charter, they're sitting at 6, securely in the playoffs. Now they're in a split conference, and they're in the 1A split. They'll be the conference champion because of that. So they're going to have a high seed here, because of that and their strong RPI here. Let's see. There's Thomas Jefferson, a team that we've talked about.
I didn't know there's 8-1.
Yeah. Their only loss was to Community School of Davidson. Let's see. North Rowan is a pretty strong team we've talked about in the past. Bessemer City. Wow, Bessemer City at 2-7. They're in.
Because they playing us, man, and Kings. They playing us and Burns and North Gaston. Look, Cherville right there too. Cherville. Look, you gonna see Holland Tech 27.
Wow.
Secure easily.
Wow.
They easily in there. That's what I'm saying. Every school in our conference is
1A is a wild place, man.
Yeah.
Every school in our conference is making playoffs.
Christ the King is in. Is Union Academy in at 0-9? Are they in the playoffs at 0-9?
I was just thinking that under this.
Hold on, that kid. Are you really?
You gotta think about it. It's not a lot of 1A schools.
All right, hold on.
It's not a lot of 1A schools, man.
I'm okay, but you remember we used to have that modified bracket in 1A because of that. Are they doing 64 teams too? 1A? I guess I'll find out when I don't know if it's 64.
I think they might be. I'm not sure because I don't think it's that many 1A schools throughout the state.
Yeah, let's see what the projection. The projection.
They might be doing. Well, I don't know. Well, they might be doing the 64. I don't know.
Well,
the Highland Tech man.
It certainly looks like it. So, all right, I'm gonna switch from the RPI. We got to see this together. Good gracious.
It's crazy
right.
if you don't win a game and you win though. That's crazy.
Thanks for that update, Kyle. Statesville up 27-0 on Hickory at the half. They're playing the night, trying to beat the rain that's coming in, I guess, Thursday and Friday. That's a big one for those teams. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. Anyway.
He did. I can't even say anything. He did.
We're gonna switch to the 1A RPI because we gotta take a look at this because I'm very intrigued. Okay. Nope, that was the wrong thing. Hold on. I want to look at the playoff projection. My bad. So let's get that on the screen. Here we go. Okay. All right. So there are 32 teams in 1A. Goodness.
What was that? The 0-9 team?
Union Academy.
And
they're in at 29 as a wild card. Now I tell you, I love Union Academy. They're great people down there. I went down there and covered them against Mountain Island last season, in the spring. But if I'm 0-9, you got to ask yourself. Now, a few years ago, McDowell County out of the mountains was going to come down and play Independence in a 1-16 matchup. And they opted out of the playoffs. Because they didn't want to come down here, and they cited player safety and all these things, and they said we don't want to play. If you're a coach and your team is 0-9, do you accept the playoff berth?
that's a double-edged sword, man. Because opting out doesn't really send a positive message either. I don't know.
Right.
You could weigh that as a negative impact for a team saying, "Look, man, go in the locker room and say, look, we got a playoff opportunity. I don't think you guys can win, so I declined it." That's basically what you're saying. So, I don't know.
But in some aspects, though, like,
man.
right. But, at some point, don't you have to, like, come to certain realizations? Like, if you are sitting at 0-8, whatever, 0-9, and you're going to play a higher seed. I mean, and I've seen some miracle games, myself, in high school, but like, it's just at a certain point, I don't know. I just feel like,
I know this
do
may
you
sound
want?
crazy, but I don't know much about them. But I guess we'd have to think about also. It's gonna sound crazy, but there's levels to being winless. Some teams are winless, but they're losing by a touchdown here, a field goal here. That's different
Right.
than giving up 56 points a night. So that's I'd have to see if are they winless but still competitive. That's gonna where it really matters at. So
Well, here's the thing, and citing that McDowell situation, they were going to go down there and take a beating, and everyone knew it, and they knew it, and they said that we don't want to put our kids in danger. Now, there were some people that said, you need to go play, it's lessons in, being a man and all this stuff. But then there were some other people that applauded them for it and saying, doing what's best for your kids. And
you can see it either way. You can make a case for either decision.
What team are you talking about?
We're talking about Union Academy, and we're saying if you're 0-9, should you just opt out of the playoffs?
I think it depends on how competitive they've been in their game.
Yeah, well, let's find out. Let's go find out how competitive they've been.
Well, and not only that, but like, you're still looking at this.
Well, their first round projected matchup would be against Mountain Island Charter. And I'm going to tell you right now, I saw that game in the spring, and Mountain Island Charter rushed for about 600 yards. And I'm being serious.
Wow.
I'm serious. Now, in the spring, they had some good plays, but,
I mean, but I was looking at it like that, too. I feel like if you're not winning the game, you shouldn't be in the playoffs. I just feel like that's disrespectful, too.
Well, we got confirmation in. Go ahead and put Damien's comment up there. He gave me the information I needed that they're not competitive. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, he also said 0-9, you should opt out.
Well, they lost to. If this put anything in perspective, they beat Holland Tech by 1.
Well, they're 0-9.
Yeah, I didn't beat somebody. I'm confused
wrong year. I'm sorry, wrong year. Wrong
year.
I'm about to say, now I'm really confused. They got
all right, here we go. They lost to Mount Island Charter this year, 68-12. Mount Pleasant, 56-0.
You say
North Stanley. Jay Robinson beat them 82-8. Albemarle beat them 46-20. But they've been playing a lot of 2A schools though. Who is NCA? North Carolina Christian Academy Football.
Yeah,
heard of them?
That's an opt out, unfortunately.
73-0.
No disrespect, but that's an opt out.
Metrolina's very good.
They playing South Stanley, and that's 0-9 versus 1-7.
Okay.
Yeah, no disrespect at all, but upon further review, I'm gonna say opt out.
Okay, but here's my thing: if they're gonna have these teams that are coming in this low of a, well, I'm just saying, like,
come on, Joe, really?
Jeez.
Wow.
But no, if they're gonna do something like that, where they're bringing in these teams that are lower rankings, and maybe they should make them play each other first. If y'all gonna do that, because I mean, at a certain point, it's kind of embarrassing for them. So.
Well, you remember, guys, they used to have that 4-win standard to qualify for the playoffs.
Right.
I'm surprised 1A is playing 32. Now that might be a change that they make after this season, because I mean,
let me ask you this:
I don't know.
What would happen hypothetically? You can tell me what will happen, and then maybe you can also weigh in on what should happen. So let's say a team like that opts out and says, we're not going to play. Mm-hmm. Do you plug in that 33rd team? Are they now in the playoffs, or does that first round team just get a bye? Because you should plug in somebody.
This has been
plug them in next week. They have to opt out like Saturday morning.
Right. So that's
Like-
been a
it's
point.
like,
That
yeah,
was a
it's
point of contention when McDowell did it because they waited to do it, and a lot of people were mad because because I think there was a team that just got out or just didn't make it that said they would have played. You
Right.
know, for the experience and everything. So if you're a team that's going to think about opting out, you let the state know, like you said, Saturday morning when they're doing the brackets, or you do it when they have that verification period where you can call in, any mistakes or anything like that. You do it then, so another school has the option of getting in.
That's
Then
only
you gotta,
right. Yeah,
like,
you can put
be the
somebody
same
else
way.
in.
I'm saying it's gonna be tough though, because it's gonna be the same thing like how it was in the COVID year. Like somebody get COVID and they have to miss their game, then the team automatically advances. Like you just can't
Right.
call them and be like, "Hey, y'all want to play tonight?" You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, no, once the bracket is set for that week, then that's it. But
I'm saying, I feel like producers saying too, like if they opt out on Monday,
mhm.
whoever was that 33, you'd be like, "Hey, come play." But I was like, it's just gonna be tough because, like,
Yeah,
why you
I
gotta
think-
call 33? Why can't you put all the rest of the teams in the hat and pick out who coming?
If they're gonna
That's what I
opt
would
out,
argue.
they need to put like a time limit on it. Make your decision. Give them all day Saturday maybe, but look, you in or you're out. Make a decision, one or the other.
Yeah. Let's see, a couple more comments, Miss Burlos. It's time for that 4-win minimum to come back in. There's wild card, and then there's wild out of left field.
I feel like the 4-win minimum is only gonna. I feel like that rule is only gonna hurt 1A. That's only because it's
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because like even if you look at the teams below that, they only won maybe 1, 2, or 3 games. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's something we should look at for sure. Joe Hughes, main thing about the opt-out deal is some team would love those added practices. Yes, that extra week of practice. Anytime you can get more time with the kids is a major plus. All right, so that's the look at all the playoff talk throughout all the brackets in the West. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you got a better understanding. Miss Belt, yeah, we did 4A and 3A earlier, so on the playback, you can go back and check that out. So that was a great job, guys. Great discussion right there. All right, let's jump to our regular segments here. We're going to get the little thing on the screen here. All right, so real quick, let me get the right.
No, say it ain't so.
Yeah, it's true.
Are
It's
we
true.
back in the top 4? Wow, I cannot believe it, man. I didn't think this day was gonna come, man.
Well, you were number 5 last week. And
I'm saying I know when we was like number 3 at one point, then we lost to South Point, we got pushed to 8, and we was at 8 for a while. Then we went to 6, then like 5. We went to 7, then like 6 and 5. Now we're working our way up, man. That's all right, man.
Yep.
The little people out there, man. Y'all care about.
Man, please. You guys are earning it. You're obviously a great team. So Huff remains at 1, Chambers 2. Butler moves up to 3 with a bye week because of Myers Park's loss to South Met. As you said, Big Shelby moves up to 4. Catholic at 5. Hickory Ridge moves to 6. South Met goes back from 11 to 7 with their win over Myers Park. Wedding and Marvin Ridge right there beside each other. They got a big game coming up. Archer Kill is at 10. Myers Park drops to 11 from 3. And then Charlotte Latin remains at 12 in the Dirty Dozen this week. All right. In the county rankings, we do have a couple changes. I got Butler at 3, Charlotte Catholic at 4 now in Mecklenburg County. Gaston County, we got Forest View and Stuart Kramer at 3 and 4 going to fight it out for the number 3 spot in the county. I put Concord in at number 4 in Cabarrus County. Cabarrus Warriors moved to 3 even though they lose. I dropped J.F. Robinson out of Cabarrus County. Cleveland County remains the same. Union County remains the same. And Catawba Ridge is back in the upstate with their victory over Indian Land, which knocks them out of the top 4. South Point and York have a huge game this Friday night for a region championship. Why are the rankings a mess? Give me some feedback, Scott. I know you're an RGKL guy. The 1 point victory over Olympic. I mean, that kept RGKL where they are. I mean, they're in the top 10. I mean, I think they're a top 10 team in the region. So, I mean, y'all disagree with that?
No.
Nah.
Okay.
You know,
All right.
I was just gonna say, you know, I've watched them, you know, play a couple times, and you know, they've had some quality wins, and they've had some, you know, not so quality losses. So, well,
Mr. Curtis, that I'm not discounting them. That's why y'all are right there. Weddington and Marvin are right above you guys. You know, there's no discounting there. You're literally right there. It'd be one thing if I didn't have you guys in there at all, but you're right there. You're right there. Oh, you guys are in playoff form this week. Fort Mill is not in the slideshow this week, Joe. No Fort Mill this week. Tell him again, Kyle. Tell him again. Anyway, all right. The best of last. Pretty settled in the best of last. Like I said, a couple weeks ago. Butler moves to 3, AK to 4, South Meck at 5, Myers Park 6. Olympic is still at 7. West Shaw, North Meck right there. It's pretty stable across the board in the best of last. We pretty much know who's who. North Meck and Mallet Creek play in a left side versus right side battle. Who gets the left side of the best of last? That'll be settled on Friday night. No, that's not. Is that right? No, Mallet Creek plays Chambers. What am I talking about? I'm tripping. My bad. North Meck plays West Charlotte. That's the matchup, 8 and 9. Okay. All right. Moving on.
Battle for the left side.
We got a lot of games of the week, but we're going to talk fast because I talked a lot about these games on Between the Lines. If you guys got some thoughts on these, please shout them out. Myers Park at Olympic. Big game in the SOMEC 7. Especially, we talked about Olympic. Olympic needs this to help their playoff chances based on the projections.
It's a lot of games of the week, ain't it?
Well, we're going to talk fast. You guys got any thoughts on Myers Park Olympic?
I think that'd be a big game, man.
Two
I feel
teams
like
looking to
Myers
bounce
Park,
back.
yeah. There's a must win for both of them.
Yep.
I feel like if Myers Park loses, that's going to mess them up for playoffs. If Olympic wins, that's going to bump them up. You know what I'm saying? I don't see them going like 6-4 and having like those 2 or 3 4A losses is going to keep them and get like a high seed. But they also may play into somebody like a Vance having to play them, or Chambers, having to play them first round. You just never know. So that team may fluctuate who they play.
You might as well. Both teams might as well treat this game as a playoff game.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because realistically, to lose this game might be your last game.
It'll be something if Myers Park, lost and then they're out after everything that they've, done, early in the season and then, the strong, spring season they had. I'll get to you guys' comments after this segment with good stuff in the comments. Let's see, Latinette Providence Day. This is a de facto conference championship game for Providence Day after their big win over Rabun Gap last week. They got it at home. They got Charlotte. Their only loss was to Rabun Gap on the road and big. Like I said last night on Between the Lines, the transitive properties of high school football say Providence Day should win this game. But that's not how it's played. So both quarterbacks in this game are very, very talented. I expect to see a lot of points on the board, and it's going to be another fun game at Providence Day between two good coaches and Chad Greer at Providence Day. And good gracious, my brain just froze. Coach Harden. over at Charlotte Latin. All right, Kyle. Mooresville at Lake Norman. I gave a lot of detailed breakdown on this game last night. This game is for the number 2 spot out of the Greater Metro 4. So the winner obviously gets the automatic bid to the playoffs. And the loser, as we looked at the RPI rankings and the projections, the loser should still make the playoffs, but you don't want to put that in any doubt. You guys got any thoughts on Mooresville and Lake Norman while I post Kyle's Drain the Lake comment?
That'd be a big game. That's a good game too, man. I feel like a lot of these games this Friday is playoff implications, man. You can either be good or not make it at all. So
absolutely. North Mech and West Charlotte. This game is at Waddell. West Charlotte's been playing their home games there. Like we said, now West Charlotte's in. West Charlotte is in. A win, could possibly help their seeding with their RPI. For North Mech, the projections say they're in. But you don't want to leave anything to chance, lose, and then you're sitting there on that first 5 out line on Saturday afternoon. Talked about this game a little bit last night. Both teams have very talented players. You guys got any thoughts on North Mech, West Charlotte?
Well, I was just going to say, I'm pretty sure that after West Charlotte's lost last week, they're going to be chomping at the bit, this week. So I'm not saying it's going to be like a huge win for West Charlotte, but, don't be surprised if it's not. If it is.
Yeah. I think North Met needs to win more than West Charlotte does.
Absolutely.
I think so.
Absolutely.
So North Met can't come out of because a loss for North Met may, potentially push them out. You just never know. Or push them down lower, then they might not get a home game.
Right. They're in, but they're in the 20s based on the projections. So you feel pretty good, but you don't want to put nothing to chance. So, good stuff on that. And then we got Cleveland County Showdowns. If you ever wanted to go to Cleveland County and do something crazy, Friday night's the time to do it. You got Kings Mountain and Crest. You got Burns and Shelby. I guess we'll go to Big Shelby and let him get some thoughts on this.
Well, I won't really talk about our game because I don't want to put too much out there. But I know with the Crest and Kings Mountain game, like Joe said, Crest has been using a different quarterback this last couple of weeks. Their quarterback, I think he got hurt at the end of our game, maybe, or maybe that next week after that. Kings Mountain has been on the roll since the week 1 loss to us, but they lost their man in the middle, AJ Richardson, linebacker. They lost him. Also, Crest is, I believe, their running back is hurt. Adams, I believe Adams hurt too. So it's going to be about.
Oh no!
It's going to be about who can step up defensively. Because still on Crest defense, you have Eli Hall. Then Keys Mountain defense, you still have a bunch of young guys that's gelling together, learning how to play together, man. So it's going to be a good week for Cleveland County football. You got our game, Shelby and Burns, playoff implications. We win. I feel like we'll secure the number 1 seed in 2A. Then Burns is like at 6 right now. Then you just never know if we lose. If it happens, then it might be something different for us. But it's a real good game, man. So our OC came from Burns. Coach Emery, he was at Burns. Coach Devine, the head coach that was at Burns that y'all had on last week, was my defensive coordinator at Shelby. So he was at Burns. Then Kane and Shelby went back to Burns, man. So it's about so it's real good. It's a good rivalry between us two, man. We won't like each other on Friday, but after the game, I have no problem going over to talk to my old defensive coordinator, Coach Devine. So this game is it's a lot riding on this game.
Absolutely. Joe Hughes adding in Burns Shelby will be won and lost in the trenches. So,
and I know my guy Joe. I don't got to ask who's gonna be there because I know my guy Joe's gonna be there. So.
Next game, going on the road.
I know my boy Joe's
going on the road to take on Marvin Ridge. Huge game in Union County. This is for the conference title. Talked a lot about this game on Between the Lines last night. They got some very talented guys on both sides of the ball. I love Landon Backey. I love Grady Brosterhouse and Kyle Parsons, who you interviewed, Queen, starring for Weddington. And then on the Marvin Ridge side of things, Jake Young at tight end, very talented kid. I love the Metters kid at the quarterback spot. He's a dual threat guy. And then, I hope I say his name right, Luke Rakovics. Is an athlete that can play all over the field, 6'4" kid. So really, really good talent. Big time matchup in Union County. You guys got any thoughts on Weddington at Marvin Ridge?
I was going to say it should be a game for Weddington. You know, I know they at Puerto Ridge and talk about their student section, because I know at Puerto Ridge they had a pretty massive student. Over at Marvin Ridge, they have sort of the same, and Weddington is really good at like blocking that noise out and you know playing their game anyway. So I'd be really interested to see what they can bring, because I know Marvin Ridge. I mean, those kids are not crazy, but they are like just electric with their student section. So I'd be interested to see that.
Yeah, I anticipate. I'm sure it'll be a huge crowd down in Marvin Ridge. You guys on these comments, man. Home cooking. Good gracious. Is there home cooking in Union County? Is that, I mean, I know against, maybe some Charlotte schools, maybe there is, but against each other, is the home cooking? Does that happen? I don't know. Anyway, Mount Pleasant goes on the road to take on J.M. Robinson.
That'd be a game, man.
Yeah, it is. J.M. Robinson has been really playing well on offense. They had a young quarterback, threw a bunch of touchdowns. I think they won, was it 82-8 over Union Academy? Did we just talk about that? Mm-hmm. Good gracious. Mount Pleasant, losing to North Stanton. Yeah.
Mount Pleasant's a tough football team, man. They are always tough because of what they do. They do stuff different than everybody else that you have played, so it's always tough preparing for them, because they basically run like a Stanford type offense where they may run it all night. You just never know. If they got a good running back, they're gonna run it all night. They may throw in there. They're gonna run about 6 or 7 linemen, maybe a tight end. It's just tough. It's different. That offensive style is just different than what it is for the average school in wherever you at. Because a lot of people don't play under center how they do.
Yeah, they're very traditional. I remember we saw Cody Reese a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. Cody gave us problems. And Cody is. So I'm saying that offense, man, that scheme, man, it's so tough to prepare for, man, because nobody runs it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think Mount Pleasant's game plan is definitely going to be to run the football and keep that J.M. Robinson offense off the field, for sure. Keep that game close, and then see how J.M. Robinson reacts in a close game, because they've been playing in a lot of easy blowout situations. So see if they can put some pressure on them and try to win it at the end. Independence at Butler. Queen, this is your game. What you got to say?
I'm really excited about this game. I obviously, my alma mater, go Big I. Always cheer for those guys. I'm hoping that it'll be a close game. So we'll have to see. I'm not gonna, we'll see.
James Smoot is against you.
I think that's a big game.
I mean,
big game.
I could pick a game. We don't want to do that though. It's okay. Butler all day.
Tell them if you pick a game, you're just gonna come to Shelby and Burns with Joe.
Oh no, I'm going to.
I think that's a big game for. That could be a big game for Independence, man. Because if they win, that's gonna help them get in the playoff. But I feel like a lot of these games is like the team with the better record. If they lose, you may jump from being a 1 seed to a 2 seed to a wild card. Like, man, I was like, this is a lot of opportunity for the teams with the lesser record, man, because they can win and just hop in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
A big rival game. Also a really big rival game. Old school rivalry.
Karen Belk, hope the rain stays away. The Indy defense had 2 shutouts the last 2 games. Well, I don't know if you guys know, but we have a CFI meteorologist on the show with us.
That would be me. You know what? I did already check that out. I think on Friday, the rain should be in the early part of the day, and
Yeah, the
then
mornings,
I
yep,
think
we
by
see
game time it should be cleared out. So you might be playing on a wet field, but I don't think it'll be raining, by game time. So
That's why everybody needs turf, man.
business as normal.
That is a victory for all of us.
Yep.
All right, last game, Concord A.O. Brown, the Bell game. Concord Conference champions. They're locked in as a 1 seed. Winning this game for them is not really big from a playoff perspective, but the Bell game, they want that Bell back. And there has been some talk from Concord that they want to end A.O. Brown's season right here because a loss, A.O. Brown does not have good playoff prospects with the loss.
A.O. Brown also can hurt Concord.
How so?
Like I'm saying, like instead of being like, even though they'll be a number 1 seed, you might be number 8. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being, if you win, you might be like 2 or 3. So you may only have home field advantage for 2 rounds. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like everybody got a lot at stake. It's either you might have 2 home games your senior year, or you might have 1.
That's true.
That's true. Stuff. So if A.M. Brown's not playing for nothing, I'm like, hey, let's go out there and ruin their week.
Well, I mean, this game's gonna be fire because it's the Bell game anyway. I mean, everyone's gonna be fired up.
Look, they could both be winless, and that game they would be fired up. It's kind of one of those throw the records out type of atmosphere, man.
But hopefully there's a big crowd at A.L. Brown. I know when Kenneth went, he said the crowd wasn't that strong, so hopefully
I think they'll show up for this one. I got a feeling.
I hope so. Those kids deserve it. All right, on to the next slide. Oh, comments. I'm sorry. Let's see. We got a good number of them. On Olympic, Myers Park stepped out and missed the Olympic game discussion. If Myers Park QB keeps turning it over, Olympic will win. I mean, yeah, turnovers, big time. Turnovers make a big difference. We saw the Olympic defense. It was a low-scoring game when they played RGKL. I mean, I think the Olympic defense with Coach Hart will be ready for sure. Let's see. Kings Mountain got their top running back last week, according to Joe. So that's a big deal, obviously, for that one. With especially, Coach, you said Adams is out for Crest. That's a big loss for those guys. James Smoot saying Olympic over Myers Park. They're a scary team to play right now, backed in the corner. I mean, I would say so. I would say, well, I'm not predicting the game. I'm saying they're definitely backed in the corner. And I know they'll be motivated, and I know they'll be ready for sure. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Prediction time last week.
I think I got bamboozled.
How was that?
I like that word.
I think the games you gave me were different than the ones y'all picked.
No, they were not. You just got 3 wrong.
I feel like these results here are 100% accurate.
Yeah, because you're on top.
I didn't say that. I just said I will not question the accuracy of these results.
Well, I had to put you on top because the other 2 aren't here taking PTO. So enjoy your week at the top.
We don't need any explanation. You did the list. No explanation needed.
But still, no loser of the week, even though I put myself last.
You didn't put yourself last. How humble of you.
Right.
Next slide.
Come on.
All right. What, man?
Thank you for not making me have to pick between Independence and Butler. Thank you.
They put Shelby on there, man.
We're all gonna pick Shelby.
I don't know that.
Well, we would all pick Shelby, right?
I don't know. People
I'm just
Producer
kidding.
may have an inside scoop on something. You just never know what people come with, man.
I don't have an inside scoop. Okay.
I mean, if we had an inside, if I personally had an inside scoop on Shelby, it would have came from you. So, so you would know if I had an inside scoop. You're the only person I was gonna reach out to.
Valid point.
I don't like. I ain't want to pick up for that. It's fine. I gave it on that. These some good games though. It's still some good games.
Yeah, this.
All right. Well, hey, Monte's coming in. Thanks for watching, Monte. West Charlotte over North Meck for sure. So let's see who agrees with Monte and who doesn't. So North Meck at West Charlotte, Queen.
I agree with you, West Charlotte.
Producer,
I'm going West Charlotte also.
Big Shelby.
I'm going West Charlotte also.
I'm gonna go with North Meck. All right, Crest at Kings Mountain, Queen.
Chris.
All right, producer.
I didn't hear an answer, but okay.
She said Crest.
I was gonna say, be quiet. Let him pick his own team.
Right.
Let me try to ride.
This is tough. It's tough. I'm gonna go Kings Mountain.
All right, Big Shelby.
With some inside information that I have, I'm gonna go with Kings Mountain.
And I'm gonna go Kings Mountain as well. Big Shelby, you got a fan here, Neil. Inside stuff with Coach Webb.
I don't even know who that is. Thank you.
That might be a new segment next season.
Hey, inside stuff now, man. Hey, I'm not gonna tell you about us though. I will never tell you about us. I can tell you
I know.
tell you about everybody else.
All right, Weddington at Marvin Ridge, Queen.
Weddington.
Producer,
Weddington.
Big Shelby.
I'm going Weddington.
Oh,
Just pick, Pep. Just pick. Pep is you're perfect. Just pick.
I'm gonna ride with my buddy. I'm gonna go with Marvin Ridge, OL coach. Good, Craig. I'm forgetting names today.
Boy, yeah, you are.
Somebody he is.
Right.
I didn't say
Old
it.
buddy.
You know who you are, man. God, nutty, man. What is wrong with me? All right. Community School of Davidson at Pine Lake, Queen.
Mm.
Come on, Queen.
I don't freaking know. Community School at Davidson.
Producer.
Ooh, man.
Let me check my intel. I'm happy I ain't go first.
I'm gonna go. Ooh, this is tough. I'm gonna go community school though.
Big Shelby.
Hold on. Still checking my intel.
He literally kind of pull up both records really quick.
I don't know. I don't know about neither one of these teams.
I'm gonna put y'all on a timer, man. You're here cheating.
I'm going Pine Lake. I'll go Pine Lake. Oh, that's a good game, though. Community School of Davidson. They number one team in the conference.
I'm gonna go with Pine Lake as well. Karen Belk. It's not on the screen, but she wants you to pick Indy, Queen.
Hey,
she's gonna be there. She'll be there.
Fun fact: Community School of Davidson beat Mount Island Charter.
I know. I said that earlier.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Community School of Davidson.
You can't be switched.
Hey, you just throwing things out here I've never heard of.
What?
Come on, Coach Trotter, where you at, man? Come on here and educate. So Joe's picking Community School of Davidson.
Joe. I'm going with Joe. Community School.
Monte is picking Pine Lake. I'm with you, Monte. I'm with you.
Let's make that game a +2.
No, York at South Point.
I'm actually gonna go York.
Okay. Producer.
Also tough. South Point.
Big Shelby.
I'm gonna go South Point.
I'm gonna go with South Point as well. And finally, Forest View at Stuart Kramer, Queen.
For my old Uber driver, I'm gonna go Stuart Kramer.
What?
He was an Uber driver that used to coach at that coached at Stuart Kramer, and so I'm gonna go
I was like, what?
Whatever. Anyway, Stuart Kramer.
Producer.
I'm gonna support the Queen's Uber driver as well. I'm gonna go Stuart Kramer. Stuart Kramer it is.
Naughty. What in the world? Big Shelby.
I'm gonna go Stuart Kramer as well.
I'm gonna go with Forest View. So, a couple more comments. South Point with Monte. Joe saying never pick against South Point. And Monte, South Point has an explosive offense. So Queen,
Yeah.
if York wins, you have bragging rights.
That's why I do that. Yeah, I get one. That's my one.
All right. Coach Burnett, Stuart Kramer coaching Uber driver.
Yeah,
Did
That's
you
him?
go to school together? Or
I
something?
think that's what it was. Wait.
Good gracious! All right, that's awesome.
Coach
Yeah,
Burnett,
I had him last year, and we talked about it the
Man.
whole way. He knew you. That's why. Never mind.
Everybody knows Pep.
I know.
All right, well, we're out of slides, so I can't say next slide. But in the absence of the professor in the engine, I have to do one thing that I don't normally do. And in absentia, it is slime time. And tonight on Slime Time, hosted by me, the Pet Man, we're going to go to Big Shelby first. Big Shelby, who you sliming tonight?
I am sliming. I didn't really have a slime tonight. But I am sliming these restaurants with raising all these prices of chicken wings, man. I love chicken wings. It seems like chicken wing prices just keep increasing each week. 6 wings for $12, man. What kind of chicken you got that it costs $2 a wing, man? Let's get back to the old days, man. Come on, please.
Sir, I am with you on that. The only chicken wings I buy now come from KFC. 12 wings, $9.99. Proper wing pricing. PWP. That's what we need to have.
That's what we need.
PWP. Yes, sir. Oh, my bad. See, this is why I don't host the slime. I'm getting things wrong. All right. Queen, who you sliming tonight?
First of all, I just have to speak for all people who work in restaurants because COVID is why you guys are paying higher prices for your chicken wings. So I'm going to need for y'all to calm down and pay the $2 extra or whatever for y'all's chicken wings and be grateful. Okay. Thank you. Anyway, I'm actually going to slime the Chicago Blackhawks. Hats off to Chicago Sky for winning a WNBA championship with my girl Candace Parker. The Chicago Bulls have been, doing really good things, on the NBA side to start the season. But the Blackhawks, they have, if you don't know who they are, they're the NHL franchise for Chicago. They just went through a recent scandal where their coach for the 2010 season actually had some sort of allegations where, and I won't go into details about it, but I'm signing you guys because, a player, I think maybe a couple of players actually had similar allegations about this guy, and it's not a good look for the franchise. It's not a good look for hockey, and I mean it's uncalled for. I think the GM actually resigned either yesterday or today because of this, because he was full aware of what was going on during this time, and they just covered it up. And I think that's the biggest part of it for me. It's you guys covered this up. I'm a big advocate for stuff like this. So yeah, y'all get the slime this week for me.
Yeah, these people gotta start acting right, man. Just because you got a lot of money doesn't give you the right to just be a jerk. So I agree with you. Producer Brandon, who you sliming tonight? I'm trying to sound like Kenneth, but I'm probably failing on that.
Well, I don't really have too many thoughts on chicken wing inflation. It kind of is what it is. But I'm gonna slime anybody who's in charge of these stupid robo dollars and spam calls that always, call out. Look, I'm fine with my car's extended warranty, okay? I don't need to buy any warranty. I don't need you to be reminded every week. It just gets annoying. And the phone will block some of them for you. Spam, blah blah blah, possible spam. It'll just silence some of them automatically. But I don't know what needs to happen or how we fix this. But all these spam calls, robo dollars, and that needs to stop. So I'm slobbing who's ever out there that does this robo dialing and spam calls. And on second thought, make chicken wing pricing great again. Had to change the heart.
PWP, you're damn right. PWP, proper wing pricing. Kyle, you still here? I need that hashtag.
You down with PWP?
Yeah, you know me. I'm going to dedicate my slime to comments because there's a great discussion over here. Joe Hughes, y'all need to go to the Drunken Goat on Carowinds Boulevard for low price wings. Colin, not called Drunken Goat anymore. Joe, it's District 23, but it'll always be the goat to me. All right, well, I'm going to find that District 23. And Colin, yes, I do like Wing King, absolutely. Karen Belt, go Braves. I need to check in on the score. I need to check in on the Hornets, too. I can't believe I forgot the game was on. I didn't even turn the TV on. I'm telling you, man, I'm losing it. PWP or get you're dang on right. So I've got to bring everybody back. That's the end of slime time, but we're going to end the show with one question on our minds.
Well, Pep, your Hornets are winning 104-100 with 5 minutes left.
And then the Astros are up 5-1. Good gracious. I don't know. Well, at least we got game one. That's all right.
Yeah.
Y'all down with PWP?
Yeah,
Yep, PWP, yep. With some ranch.
Good night, everybody.